Welcome to Dining Room Stories with Domar and Andrea, where we take you behind the scenes of the restaurant business world with stories and conversation that inspire. Today, we are joined by an artist and entrepreneur. Originally from Turin, she has worked in architecture, but now owns a successful pizza catering business. Welcome to Dining Room Stories, Sara Sidari.
Thanks guys, thanks for having me.
Ciao Sara,
Ciao.
Benvenuta. Siamo molto contenti di averti qui. And because you ask if this podcast is in Italian or in English,
Italian or English.
Well, we can try. We'll do English with...
We'll do half and half.
Half and
the way
half.
we speak at home.
Let's try in English. Sarah, welcome. Tell us about you. Who is Sarah? An artist, an entrepreneur? Who are you?
Yeah, that's a tricky question. I never know how to answer that one properly. So I'm an over creative. So by trade, I'm an architectural designer. So that's my studies. I'd got a master's in architecture. I did quite a few years in architecture, but I found it's a very dry industry. It's not as creative as what people think it is. So I started my illustration company during my time in architecture, and then that blew up on Instagram. So that was the early days of Instagram. I started posting my drawings, which I've drawn since I was little, and it turned into a full-time business. So that's how I started and ventured off into my own entrepreneurial journey.
And when did you start Panza Piana, and what does Panza Piana means?
Yeah, so obviously being Italian, I grew up around food all the time. My mum was in the hospitality industry. And so in 2019, the family kind of wanted to get back into it. And so we started Panza Piana. And primarily we started with piadine. So we started by...
With, sorry?
Piadine.
Piadine?
Yeah. I know.
Small feet, you said.
Yeah. Like the...
Sorry, I'm joking.
No.
The Italian.
The Italian piadine, not little feet. So the flatbread. It's the Italian flatbread, but it's not a flatbread. If my dad hears me say that, he will get very upset. Yeah. And so then we just started distributing to cafes around Melbourne. And from there, it kind of grew into what it is today.
What inspired you to start Panza Piana? What was the inspiration behind? Is that the family?
Yeah, definitely the family. So like I said, mum wanted to get back into it, dad as well. They got to an age where dad couldn't do his job anymore. And so a typical Italian doesn't want to stop working. He needed to keep busy. And then, we just started from there.
Where is your family from? Turin?
Torino,
right?
yeah. So I was actually born in Torino, came here when I was about 5 years old.
Oh, wow. So you are an Italian-Australian completely.
Yeah, dual citizenship. I'm one of the lucky ones.
I got double citizenship too.
Yeah,
but
there you go.
Yeah, but I came here like 10 years ago.
Yeah, so
that's great.
Been here for a while.
I love Torino and Milano, Torino, they're like really close.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have some memories about the...
100%. I'm there every year. So I travel back and forth all the time, and I grew up half here, half there. So my Italian's fluent also for that reason.
Yeah, that's great.
Torino for me is all about the città, Piazza Vittorio, all the cafes, the bars, the food. The food's incredible up in the north.
Yeah, and I like, Torino is like basically historically in the 80s was the second Italian city with more people from the south. There was probably Napoli, Palermo, and then there was Torino. So there's like a really interesting there's been like a history of immigration in Torino, and then Fiat was there.
Well, it's one of the main industrial cities. Yeah,
and now it's changing a lot. So in the past few years, actually became like a really interesting city, like for the books and of course like Juventus and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think Torino is it's a beautiful city. It's it's really close to Milano, 1 hour.
Yeah, I take Italo straight there, 1 hour train ride.
Transitioning from art design to, the food industry is no small leap, right?
No.
So what are the challenges that did you face at the beginning?
Yeah, well, I mean, it is a big leap. They're very different industries, but they're also not. I feel like the food industry is also a creative industry. So any chef is almost like an artist. They've got their own style, their own way of doing things, the way they plate up food, the way they create meals. There is an artistic element to it. But for me, it was more about creating a concept of just like a fun catering company. So the way it's been branded, marketed, it's all about family, but with a modern twist. So that's where the creative side comes in, mostly in the marketing and some of the food as well. Even though it is more traditional food catering, it's more in the way it's been marketed. That's where the creative side.
And how's business going?
It's so busy. Oh my God, I was just telling you, I did 3 days. I did 3 days at Paran Market, and we sold out the first day within 2 hours.
Wow.
Hundreds of pizzas. So we were slammed. They actually had to stop the queue and tell everyone that we sold out. So there was a few disappointed people, but we'll be back, hopefully.
So yeah, it wasn't a marketing like move. Because like, you know, sometimes like, oh, it's too busy, like you can't.
No. We literally went and counted how many pizzas we had left, how many dough balls, and we were like, we're not going to get through all this line. Like there's no way. And it was hundreds as well. It wasn't just, you know, so we over-prepared. We thought we had, you know, Papa was like, he was up till 2 a.m. making dough. And he's like, we've over-prepared. We're going to waste the dough. No,
great. And so like, so what's the recipe of the dough that makes it special? It's like a kind of like Dad recipe?
Yeah, so Dad does the dough again. He's the one that does like the piadine, the focaccia, all of like the bread side. He's got his own recipe. It's a mix between like a traditional Napoletana, you know, biga, and also a modern pizza. So it's not as soft as a Napoli pizza or Napoletana pizza. It's got a little bit of a crunch to it, which is adjusted to what people like in Australia as well. But it's a good balance between the two.
Yeah. And it's really interesting. Like, as for example, like the normal, like I say, like the classic Italian pizza is more like perceived as like a fine dining, I would say. Like, while in Italy you can have a pizza for €5,
100%.
€7 idea. Like you sit at a place, and
Even if pizza is becoming more and more a gourmet item, you know, a luxury item where you go in a beautiful place and beautiful setting as well. Like it's changing the way pizza is
perceived. Yeah,
is perceived,
100%.
yes.
But I think the good thing about the way Panza has come about, it does still have that kind of urban feel to it. So it does have that kind of, you know, street food feel, because essentially pizza is something very... It's not supposed to be luxury. It's supposed to be accessible to everyone.
I agree with you. Pizza is family, it's connections.
Family, it's something that, like, what are you doing on a Friday night? Let's just get a pizza. It should be something easy. So that was the aim of Panza. It needed to be easy. It had to have that vibe of just being, let's just, you know, get them in, make some pizzas for the family, make some pizzas for the parties, and that's it. So
you started as a family business, but you are growing and scaling really fast.
Extremely.
Do you have any problem with staff?
With staff, absolutely. After COVID, we need some Italians back here to help us make some pizzas.
Are you calling them? Italians, we need...
This is advertising, we need you.
We need more Italians here.
Even though so obviously Papa makes the dough, and then myself and Rui, who's she's actually Japanese. She's been with us since day one. She's a gun. So she was taught by a Napoletano in Japan how to make pizza. So she helps us with the events. But we need more people. We need more staff.
Do we need more people or more machines? What's your
people? I'm all for the old school way of doing things, you know. And that was one thing with us. We've had a lot of people approach to invest in Panza. So investors to make it a lot bigger. And I've really sat and had to think about it, because it's an incredible opportunity. But at the same time, I don't want to lose, you know, the way that it's humble and the originality of Panza. I don't want to lose the quality either. So
what about delegation? Delegation. Are you a person that delegates?
Not good at no. I've learnt to delegate, because I do struggle with wanting to have everything perfect and this and
it's
that.
Not easy coming from an artist background, you know, where everything is on you.
No, and that's another thing I've had to learn in this business, because obviously with my drawings, it's just me. So the illustration company's been 10 years. It's doing extremely well, you know, worked for some of the biggest brands, but it's all been me. I haven't had to really get anyone to help. But with Panza, I've had to learn to delegate roles and trust the people that are doing it. So
You're doing great.
oh, thank you.
Yeah, and trust is really, you need to kind of like deserve, but also it's like kind of coming from a place that's like you need to accept a little bit less perfection.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
100%. But that's also, I mean, it depends on the person as well. But that's something that, again, I've had to learn that there is no such thing as perfection. And I guess that's kind of what makes Panza beautiful as well, because it's the fact that everyone has their own style of doing things. It all works together. We've all made it work together. And yeah, it's not perfect, but it's...
And the business at the beginning, especially a small business, reflects the founder's personality.
Yes.
And the business evolves when the founder evolves as well, which that's the hardest part.
Yeah, absolutely. I think even our logo represents us. So we've got like the little asinello, the donkey kicking the pizza slice. It's all got to do with the origins of Panza.
Yeah. Yeah, and Sara, like you have a really good energy. You're really positive. I can see that. But also like I'm really interested, like, cause like one thing is like the artistic side, right? The other one is like the business side.
Yeah.
Are you a perfectionist also in the artistic?
In the artistic side?
Your artistic side. So you organize things or you let spontaneity to drive your art?
No, I'm more organized in the way I do my art. However, for example, there are moments where I do have to kind of just let go of that and just do it in the moment. The Paran market, I'm doing a huge mural at the moment and it's 4 meters high.
Whoa.
And I had sketched it out, which then had to be projected onto the wall to be drawn. Projector broke. So projector wasn't working. And then that was a moment where I had to be like, okay, I'm going to have to freehand it. And it turned out beautiful. It wasn't exactly like I sketched it, but it still had its beauty in it. And that was a huge success as well. So again, not perfect the way I would have planned it, but I make it work.
As a creative person, do you ever suffer from anxiety?
Yes. Yeah, I think that's anyone who is creative puts a lot of pressure on themselves and the anxiety does tend to creep up. So yeah, I have suffered from anxiety in the past. It's controlled now. But
how do you handle that?
I think I just have to kind of sit, take a breath, rethink everything and just understand that,
Hi guys, I hope you're enjoying the episode. Remember to subscribe to our channel to get updates and keep enjoying the rest of the episode.
I can't please everyone and it's okay to say no to things. Like I think my biggest anxiety is having to say no to people because I hate letting people down.
Okay.
And again, that comes from being, the perfection side and maybe a bit Virgo as well. That's my star sign. But I've learnt that it's okay to say no and, not everyone has to like you and not everyone has to agree with you and that's fine. That's life.
That's probably one of the secrets.
Yeah.
To becoming more and more successful.
100%.
Say no and it's much harder to say no than always saying yes.
Oh, yeah. That's been one of the biggest learning curves in the last maybe couple of years is handling how to say no.
As a woman entrepreneur,
yes.
Have you ever felt the need to work harder or prove yourself in a male-dominated industry?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I know I wish it didn't have to be like that, but I do have to feel like I have to prove myself a little bit more. And even on social media, like the other day, I got a comment from a male criticizing the pizza because, he was in the same industry. And it's like everyone, again, each chef they're an artist. They have their own style. They have their own way of doing things. And it doesn't have to be always criticisms. It could be more support. So it does feel like sometimes I have to prove or do more to kind of gain that respect.
Yeah, and then especially like considering your exposure on social media.
Yes.
Do you actually... do you receive a lot of those comments or it's like...
No, I'm lucky that I don't because I've built a community over a long period of time. So there's people that have followed me for 6-7 years. So I've been able to build a community that's been supportive. It's very rare that I get those sort of messages. I've had maybe 2 or 3 in all the years I've been on Instagram.
Oh, that's great. So the pizza is pretty good, right?
Yeah, our pizza's good.
Yeah.
I haven't tried it yet. So
I know you have to. You
Come on. Don't be too judgmental.
do you get affected by those haters? Really? Like, who are those people? You know, like,
Yeah.
to me, they're just frustrated people.
I just don't understand it. Like, I feel like I would never go to someone else who's an artist and say your art's shit, or, you know, it's just not in me, because firstly, I don't have the time to sit there and criticize people because I'm too busy. And secondly, there's no need for it. You just have to accept that everyone's got their own way of doing things. It did affect me at the start. I had some moments where I was like, you know, this is not nice, and I take things quite personally. But now I'm just like, you know, you're always, again, you can't please everyone.
So
No, we call them in Italian leoni da tastiera,
Yeah.
or like keyboard lions,
Yeah.
because they're really, really, how would I say, sicuri, just like really strong and like commenting behind the screen. But then you meet those people in person, and sometimes they're like really shy or introvert. So
Yeah,
it's kind of like
100%.
their way to actually, I don't know, like hurt
personally,
people.
I really relate to small businesses. I started like a small business, you know, and I hate jealousy. I hate jealous people.
There's no need for it.
Because they don't understand how much sacrifice there is behind or trying to be successful.
Yeah.
It's actually harder to be positive and successful than to be negative and, you know,
100%. But
unsuccessful.
that's what determines people who are going to get ahead and the ones that are just going to stay where they are, because the attitude of criticizing, putting other people down is never going to get you very far in life. It's only going to get you to a certain point, and then you're wasting your energy on the wrong things. You need to be pushing your business, focus on your road, and do you.
Yeah, and that's like with a lot of like exposure, especially on social media, that's like something you can handle. But it's easier like to see, right, when we're happy and we try to like post something that's nice, because that's how the algorithm works. But at the same time, they don't see when we work at nighttime, when we work on weekends, when we work like 7 days a week.
Yeah.
And like, you know, the life that you kind of show it is like this beautiful life, but also like we work, I would say, harder than some other people that complain.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we were up Saturday and Sunday whilst others were probably out drinking, having fun. We were at in the commercial kitchen at 2 a.m. making dough because we had sold out. So, you know, you're constantly working and putting energy in. So it's, again, I wouldn't have the time to sit there and criticize people. Like, I just...
Yeah, like, I mean, Melbourne's busy, right? Everyone's just busy.
Everyone's always busy.
Just busy, right? But it's like, so do you think like now, because, you know, social media has been like really, in that sense, I would say fake, right? So do you think like putting more authenticity is like the new way of showing yourself in 2025, 2026?
Yeah. I mean, I've done that since day one. Like, I've always shown everything that I am, you'll see on social media. Like, I've never tried to be someone I'm not. And again, people that have followed me for so many years, they've seen me at my worst times because, you know, a couple of years ago, I went through a really difficult breakup.
Okay.
You know, it was a 5-year relationship and people were invested in it. And then all of a sudden it just, you know, I had to make a decision that probably was one of the hardest ones. And, you know, I wasn't pretending to be all happy on social media when I wasn't. And people understood that I may have needed to take some time off or, you know, needed to not post such happy things because that's the time that I was living. It wasn't a happy period. So I've tried to be as authentic as possible.
Yeah,
even
that's
when
good.
and even with business decisions that have gone wrong or moments in business that have been tough, like I've never tried to hide that. It is part of being an entrepreneur. So, and I think we need more of that because a lot of people fake what's on social media and fake the success of the business. And I get there's a thing of like fake it until you make it, but also no, I think you need to show people the journey the right way.
It might take a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But as you were saying before, against the haters, like they can get to a certain point, but like if you're authentic, that is like basically aligning towards your real self, then things are gonna happen, I guess.
And I've noticed like throughout the years, whenever I've made an authentic decision in business, it's always done really well. But then when maybe something's come where it doesn't feel so aligned, but I'm like, let me give it a go. It never does well because it just doesn't align with who you are.
And that's really hard, by the way.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about like such a way, it's like, try to kind of.
There is a sentence that I like, especially talking about haters. If you didn't make me, you can't break me.
That's right. That's a good one. I like that.
And it takes
that's a good tattoo, Omar.
a lot of nights, sleepless nights,
Next one, yeah, for sure.
Next one.
Especially when you get a little bit older. You're very young. I'm getting there.
Yeah, no. But it's true. It's like it's the amount of sleepless nights you're saying, like you were saying, the heartaches, how many, times you make a business decision and you fail, but all of those steps are going to make you.
But when you start, you are a little bit raw and naive.
100%.
Even if as a small business, and those type of comments, they do affect you.
Yes.
Like you start thinking about what have I done wrong or why do these people.
Oh, but I'll still be like, I could get 1,000 incredible comments, right? Support. And then one really like just a little snappy one. And I will still sit there and not think about how many beautiful messages I got. I'll think about that one really nasty one. And then I have to realign myself and be like, no, I've just got 1,000 beautiful messages. Like, I'm not going to focus on that one negative one. It's just not worth it.
We're all the same. We're human beings. I tell my staff, we get hundreds of positive reviews and then we get one negative and you just focus on the negative.
The negative, yeah. And it's like...
Which shouldn't be like that. But, it takes experience, takes somebody...
Train your mind to,
guiding you and have some leadership as well,
exactly.
to bring up your stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and so how do you... what's your like work-life balance between like, your...
There's no work-life balance.
You don't?
Just work.
Okay.
Not much. No, I'm joking. No.
No, but between, I'd say like, so you have a public figure and of course you have your own private life. How do you actually balance it?
Well, what I post on social media is primarily work-related, that's where there's the fine line because my work is who I am. So I'll try to post more about my projects, my work. I'll sometimes put in snippets of like dinners with my families and then I've learned over the years to separate and maybe not show so much of my personal life because...
I agree. I'm actually, so I got like one historical like Instagram like that I never use it. Especially it's like closed, like private. And then I just created a new one for this, then testing different things. But like the whole point, I agree with you. Kind of like separating the two things.
Yeah. The problem being, because I am my art and my art is me, it's hard to then do another Instagram for just my art and then just me. And it's like, also, how do you see social media, right? Do you see social media as a platform to post your everyday stuff or do you see it as a platform to make business? That's where I kind of then...
Are you asking me?
Yeah, or in general.
No, that's a really good question.
Yeah. I see it more, for me, Instagram from day one has been a business platform. So I posted an illustration, I made a sale, and from there it turned into a full-time company that does extremely well. And then from there, Panza then came. So for me, social media from day one has been business. It hasn't been me posting.
But don't you feel that sometimes business is life is business because it's still you?
Yeah. And that's when I say, okay, let me choose to post something that is still me and still about my personal life, but not too much because I don't use it as a platform to show my... which again, it's hard because it is my everyday life, but it's selective. It's very selective.
Have you ever felt the need to take a break from social media?
Yeah, like I said, when I went through that breakup 2 years ago, I took a long break. Like I did. I wasn't posting as much. People obviously knew what had happened.
Where are you, Sara? Schmanky, dove sei?
But again, I got so much love. They realized what had happened and I, even though it was a choice I made, it was still a choice that was really tough. So they knew that I was suffering from it, like I was struggling with it. But again, I took a break and then I came back and bought out a new collection of art and, I was back. So I needed to take that that time for myself.
I remember that period you came back even stronger, actually.
I think I came and ate at your restaurant as well.
Yes, we had a chat and a discussion.
What restaurant, Omar?
Cozy.
One of the.
Yeah, Cozy. And actually, Cozy has 3 of my art pieces in there.
No, there is a funny story that you actually draw the cover of my book.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
And you didn't even know, I didn't even know that you actually did.
I literally forget how many drawings I've done in Victoria or in Melbourne. I had actually drawn Cozy years ago, and it was in a little frame in the restaurant. And that was the drawing you used for your cover.
Yeah, so basically when we bought the business broker asked you to draw this little, beautiful cover.
Yes.
And a beautiful frame for us as a gift. And then many years later
he invited me on, it was like an influencer lunch. Yeah. And I was looking and I'm like, this looks familiar. Yeah. And then I saw my drawing. I'm like, oh my God, I drew that. And then you were like, my God.
And I didn't even know.
Yeah. You're like, that's the cover of my book now. And I'm like, there you go.
I love this so much.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful piece of art. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, anytime.
Yeah. So because we're talking about influencer, like in social media in general, like, some gurus, they just say, you need to post 1 post per day. You need to do this. You need to do that. How do you actually sit around like strategies? How do you handle it?
So I try to post once a day.
Okay.
But not for strategic reasons. It's just I have so many drawing projects that I want to post that I need to post it at least once a day. I have so many projects that I still haven't even posted over the years. But
do you ever sleep?
I don't sleep a lot.
That's right. That's the secret, right?
Yeah.
Don't sleep.
That's where I need to work on as an entrepreneur, is trying to get that balance, because you don't want to burn yourself out. I've been in moments where I've been burnt out, and it's worse for the businesses when it's like that.
Yeah.
But no strategy. I just kind of try to post once a day, at least 2 reels a week, and again, keeping content as authentic as possible.
You do some editing, or you just raw
material?
No. The most I will do is like maybe brighten it a little bit if it's a cloudy day, because we know how Melbourne is.
Yeah.
But that's it.
A little bit of color, because it's like,
About balance and, burnout. Yes. I believe it's very hard to reach that balance.
Yeah.
And especially as an entrepreneur, if you love what you're doing, you're never going to burn out really, because you're so excited by what you're doing.
Exactly. No, that's the thing. The only moments I've burnt out have been when, again, it's like personal life stuff that have interfered, or, but when it comes to projects, I'm like, I'm so keen to get them done because I'm so excited about them. Panza, I have learnt in the hospitality world, the hours are pretty intense. So, and ours is a catering, so we go to people's homes and cook for them. So I can only imagine every day like you do. I don't know how you do it, but it does take a lot out of you. So
it's a 24/7 operation.
24/7, yeah.
Is there a restaurant coming up? Or?
Oh, okay. This was one of the most asked questions this weekend at Paran, because everyone that they've been following me since Panza started, and the growth, there's been huge growth in the last year, which is another learning curve. It's been really incredible to learn these things. And that's been one of the most asked questions. I think for now, we have such a good system happening and it's working so well for us that I just want to be able to continue that and then potentially have something open. But I don't want to overcommit and then under-deliver. Like, I'd rather just do what we're doing now. It's working, everyone's loving it, and then do something bigger.
In Melbourne? In case, or
come on, Oma. She says she can't share.
No, just want to say like,
what's up? Where you going?
No, it would be Melbourne. 100%.
Yeah, north side, east, west.
Oh, so we're from the west. I feel like it would be nice to have a west side. It's growing. There's a lot of really cool bars and restaurants now there.
But again, would you choose like suburb instead of like the CBD?
Oh yeah, definitely suburbs. I feel like Panza's more, again, like a urban company. Like, it's more, your street food style rather than a fancy kind of pizzeria. Like it's not what Panza's about, and not what we're about either.
What do you think about the food scene in Melbourne right now? Has it changed from COVID, after COVID?
I think, well, after COVID, I think it took a bit of time to get it back up and running. But I think now there's a lot more places opening, a lot more really cool food concept restaurants opening. So, and I like to see, even at, like, I'll use the example of Pram Market, there's like all these little pop-ups of like fusion foods. I think Melbourne's really good at doing that, and it's working really well for us. So I think that side's kind of growing.
Do you see any problems with the rising cost and inflation, or it doesn't really affect you right now because you are in growth?
It doesn't affect us, but I do know that, again, one of the reasons why I don't want to overcommit to a set restaurant is for that reason, because our costs are quite high in Australia. Obviously, importing foods over, there's all the taxes involved, all the costs of shipping. That's where the prices increase. So, and that's why, you know, pizzas cost a lot more here than they do in Italy. So,
yeah. Also, like, we got like in that, you know, just coming back, because I've been traveling for a while, like, and then coming back to Australia, you go to the supermarket and it's like, you don't have a lot of choice here. And also, like, every time, like, the prices are going up like crazy every time. And it's like, and that's so different from Europe, like, especially Italy, because, you know, in Italy, you can go in any supermarket and you're going to have like, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 different products, like for artichoke, for like pepperoni or meat or like everything. And in Australia, it's like, sometimes you feel like there's a bit like,
there's not much choice. Yeah, 100%. The produce options in Italy are endless. Like, I actually enjoy going to the supermarket in Italy.
Okay.
Like,
me too.
Like,
but like, I love it.
It's so
like,
good.
it's just,
all of the biscuits. Oh my God, the biscuit aisle. I can't. It's incredible. But yeah, compared to here,
I mean, I get my Team Tam every time I come back. I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah.
But like, rather than
Team Tams are good. Yeah.
So interesting. So basically, talking like about your business growth, like, you mainly, it's been your personal, like, Instagram driving the growth, or have you ever used any other channels like SEO, like websites, just social media?
We do have a website.
Okay.
But again, it's just a website for people to go on and see the menus, the pricing, and some images of what we do. When I look at where orders or where the event inquiries come from, they will come from social media to my website and then through my email. So that's where all the business come from. And the biggest one of all is word of mouth. So we'll go to one event, people will see us, book us. We'll go to another event, people see us, book us. So I've done no Google ads. Nothing, absolutely nothing.
You don't even spend money on Meta. You don't even spend.
No.
Okay, that's all organic, right?
Yeah. But no, nothing. It's all, it's just kind of like the community I've built. And it's really funny because then people who have hired me for art will hire the Panza for their events, because I've built, like, again, a really good community that believes in my product. So they'll know that when they hire Panza, they'll get the best quality. Like, that is something about us, which is one of the reasons why I've said no to investors, because I want the quality of our produce to be the best. Like, we don't skimp out on anything. It's always the best mozzarella, the best tomatoes, the best ingredients. Everything's made at home. Nothing's bought. It's all top quality. So
do you make the mozzarella at home?
Not the mozzarella. Okay, I wish I knew how to make it. No, but like, for example, our vegetables or even the basilico, it's all homegrown at nonno's as well. So it's you can smell the difference.
That's lovely. And it's the same, like, in Italy, it's always like being that the nonna or like la zia or someone has like a veggie garden, un orto. And so we're kind of like using fresh products, they're seasonal. Yeah. Do you actually follow the seasons or?
Yeah, so we'll change the menu depending on seasons. I think that's fun as well. It's what's nice about having a restaurant. That's where the creative side comes in. You get to kind of, play around with the menu every season.
Yeah. And like the fusion, you were talking about like, fusion. Of course, Melbourne's beautiful because of this melting pot of different cultures. Yeah. But in general, do you also use some local, Australian like ingredients that you're mixing up with the
100%.
Italian?
Yeah, so that's another thing with Panza is we we try to, so any of your like key ingredients, like the mozzarella, tomatoes, all of those we get imported from Italy. But then when it comes to like extra virgin olive oil, so the oils we use, the vegetables, it's all as close to our, area as possible. So we try to keep it, we try to support locals as well. So some of the ingredients are Australian as well.
Nice.
You have a great passion for what you're doing, and it shows in your business. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
Looking back at your journey, what is your proudest moment?
In Panza or in
Sara.
In Sara? There's two moments that were key to me. One was when I did the Koala print when the Australian bushfires happened in 2019. I did a sketch that night when I was seeing everything that was happening, and it was just something that came really naturally. And I posted it, went to dinner, and all of a sudden my phone was like exploding. And I was like, what's going on? Like something's happened. And this Koala print went viral. And basically it was to collect money for the Australian animals that were affected by the bushfires. It went absolutely manic all over the world. It was shown on, the American news reporters. It was on every magazine. Yeah, it was insane. And that's kind of when my illustrations really exploded. And that was from one print overnight. We sold thousands and thousands. It was insane. And then that kind of showed me the power of social media and the power of support.
Years
and
of
sharing.
preparation from an overnight success.
Yes,
which
exactly.
people don't understand.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was coming from a place of heart. You actually
and
genuinely helping.
Exactly right. And that's when it comes back to do what feels right, because it's always going to do well.
Yeah, so what we were talking before is like, the alignment, I try to be authentic and yourself, and, things will happen accordingly. Yeah. And it's would it be like something similar that you will tell to someone that want to start, embarking this like journey, social and creating a community?
Yeah, I would say just be you. Like, don't try to be anyone else. I think don't use social media as a platform to show what you have and what just do it in a place of show who you are, not what you have. So if you want to start off in illustrations, find your style, be you, don't try to be anyone else. And if you want to do in hospitality, again, the same thing, do something that's authentic to you, and don't listen to the haters. There's always going to be people that.
What you're saying is really simple. When you can tell you have a strong family behind with good values.
Yeah.
But, in the world, there are a lot of people that don't understand that.
Yeah.
And they're just faking it.
100%.
They're trying to please people that don't even know.
100%. It's so true. And like you said, my family's been, huge in all of this, mum and dad.
And what is your second proudest moment?
It probably would have been when Panza kind of started taking off and I could see my dad, cutting up his dough balls and just being so happy with it. So I think, Panza, when we launched Panza in the pizza section, and it started booming. So
did your dad always believe in you, or?
My dad is my biggest supporter. Like, if I'm down or I'm having a really bad day or I'm thinking negative, he's the first one to be like, what are you doing? This is not what I taught you. Like, get up, don't listen to anyone, just focus on you, do what you have to do. He's also a big yes person to opportunities. So like any opportunity that comes, do it and we'll figure it out. Like, just try to take it. And if you fail, we get back up and, try again.
It's very important to have a strong family behind.
Yeah, huge.
I like it. It's like super positive. So you were saying like when the business started picking up, your father was happy to work.
Oh my
right?
God.
It's a value. Like, we should be happy when we're doing something that we like.
Well, I think we're all put here on this earth for a reason, right?
Okay.
And my reason was through my creativity. So whatever I do, it has to be as creative and as, design-wise, as smart as possible. And I put that in all my businesses and it's all work. So that's my purpose in life. But I think everyone has a purpose and you just have to find it. And then that's when you'll bloom. That's when you'll do really well.
Do you ever fight with your dad?
All the time.
How do you handle disagreements?
He's Italian.
Of course.
He's like,
It's not fighting. It's a bit like...
yeah, it's like, you know, like sometimes I'm like...
It's passion.
Yeah. We
divergenze.
like I was saying, we went to the Prand market and he was, you know, like the real Italians at the markets, you know, pizza. Everyone loved him. And I'm just sitting there like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. But that's what makes Panza. So, and we do get emails of people being like, we want to hire you, but
your dad needs to be there.
I'm like, okay, fine.
So your dad is Torinese or?
Yeah, Torinese.
Torinese.
And then moved here at 30-something years of age when he met mum. So he met mum here.
So your mum's Australian?
No, mum is born in Italy but came here at 9. So they came when Melbourne was like, you know, flourishing and they needed people to help build the city. So my nonna was one of the families sent here to help construct.
Yeah. So we built this nation. Like before they were just eating like, you know, carrots and cabbage, right? And then we imported the panini.
So, yeah.
Actually, a story that my uncle tells me all the time. That like it's just
No, so mum was here already, and then dad met her, and yeah.
Yeah, but also because for us, Italian like culture passed through food.
Yes.
And family and spending time together, right? And that's the whole thing. I mean, there are beautiful moments here in Australia. Like Australian family, they have like moments, but like sometimes, you know, you eat by yourself, you're really independent, you can live whatever you want. Like we are a little bit more family focused, right?
100%. Like where we eat, even if I live out of home, we'll still come for dinner together or have a lunch together. Like we still make sure everyone's always together. So
in today's world, we are losing the sense of connection and communities.
Yeah.
A lot.
100%. Yeah. I think it's such a fast-paced life now that...
It's a little bit sad, honestly.
Yeah. Even like, you know, lunch, we're just eating it on the go. When we get home and we're so tired, we don't want to like, no, my dad and my mum are always like, we're sitting at the table, tell us your day. Even if you have to argue, we'll argue, but we're all sitting and eating together because that's the beauty of it. That's what ties us together.
That's how it should be.
Yeah.
It's simpler to say than to do in today's world.
Yeah, it is.
I actually like a little bit and a little bit. Like sometimes in Italy, I find that it's a little bit too much because like every time you have to do it, you have to do it if there's like a rule. Like in Australia, I like it. Sometimes you got the flexibility. It's like,
you do.
I'm done. Bye. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. I like that. From my perspective.
It's a good balance.
It's a good balance. Like a bit, like spending time with your family, but also like being independent. I think that both sides are pretty positive. Yeah,
100%.
If you could give one piece of advice to a young woman starting her own business, what would that be?
Well, the biggest one is don't be afraid to fail, because I know that for me was like, whenever I would fail, I would, you know, put myself down. But from my failures, I've learnt the biggest lessons that have now helped me make my other businesses successful. So don't be afraid to fail. It matters how you get up, not how you fall down. And always be authentic to yourself. Don't try to be anyone you're not. They're the main ones for me.
That's amazing. Yeah. Like really good tips. And would you have any tip for your younger self? Like, what would you say to your own self?
That's a good one. Don't take things so personally.
Okay.
And don't always see the good in people, because not everyone's the way you are.
Because you're a really positive person and you try to be...
Yeah, and I'm very loyal. Like, you know, I would never do anything wrong by anyone, because for me that's really important. Again, like trying to... But
you're saying that because in life happened that someone took advantage of you?
Absolutely.
Like
in business, 100%. It's been 2 massive learning curves for me with 2 different business partners in the past. And for me, it's that has now helped me, and I know now what to do, not what not to do. So I think...
It was about money? It was about like...
Yeah, it was. Okay. Was about money. So with Oro, my first business partner actually wiped the bank account clean.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it was 2 years of court to take her to court for it. Yeah. So again, I would never have done that to someone. I would never even thought to do that.
Yeah.
Not even like I would never even think to do that. Like for me, again, I'm not in. I don't do things for money. I do it for the project and the vision and the ideas. So my brain doesn't think, let me try to take this. I mean, it's just not the way it works. But I've learned that not everyone's the same, and so that was a huge learning lesson for me.
Yeah. Sometimes we need to pass through.
Yeah.
There's like let's say lower like moments to actually learn.
To learn, yeah.
But yeah, if you're still here and the business is being successful, it means that you learned the lesson.
And then exactly right.
Yeah.
Again, it's not how you fall, it's how you get yourself back up. So that's one of the main things I would tell anyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
You also need experience. So that's
100%.
called experience.
It's coming from me now. Back then I was like traumatized. I was like,
I can believe it.
Yeah.
Probably because you trusted that person,
100%,
right?
yeah.
Or
People don't understand that money is a consequence of delivering value.
100%.
You know, they just focus on money,
Yeah.
where they would be much more successful if they wouldn't focus on money and just bring value to the table.
100%. That's the aim of the game, right? It's about finding your passion, believing in it, and then everything else follows after that. It shouldn't be about money ever.
Yeah, but also like the society like where we live in is actually telling us that we should focus more on money because money means that you're successful. So it's kind of one and the other. I totally agree with you, and I think I like the concept and the message that you're sending.
100%. But any of the biggest, most successful entrepreneurs, and I mean entrepreneurs, the ones that have actually thought of an idea and created it.
Because I was thinking about Trump and Musk.
No,
Sorry.
I'm talking like proper like entrepreneurs, like
Yeah.
the old school entrepreneurs that actually invented something.
Vecchia Scuola.
Yeah.
The whole school.
Exactly.
I love it.
That actually invented something. They had an idea. They didn't have money. They didn't have, I need to make money. They had an idea to fix a problem
And passion.
find a solution.
And work out.
And passion.
Love that.
How many times they failed, they got themselves back up. They're the ones that are like real deal entrepreneurs, not the ones that are focused on money. Anyone can have money and make money. Doesn't take creativity, or it doesn't take a brain to do that.
Sara, thank you so much for
Thank
an
you.
incredible
That's
interview.
amazing.
Thanks,
It's
guys.
been,
That was
Keep
fun.
going. Well done. We are really proud of you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm proud of you guys. Thanks for
Grazie
having me.
mille.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
If you need to book a pizza catering,
Come to us.
Panza Piana.
Yeah.
Grazie mille.
Ciao, ciao.
Grazie.
Ciao.
Ciao. Hey guys, thanks for watching the episode. I'm gonna see you in the next one.
Welcome to Dining Room Stories with Domar and Andrea, where we take you behind the scenes of the restaurant business world with stories and conversation that inspire.